what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill down on this invoice by clicking the Launch NAV card button up here. So what that's going to do is it's going to take me from this folder that I have here, and it's going to take me to the invoice record that's associated with that folder. So I'm going to go ahead and click it. You're going to see that it takes me right over to this invoice record in NAV, and we've already kind of filled out the invoice header and the lines on this particular one, and this is what we're going to use for our conversation for for linking documents at the line level. So not only do we have a folder here at this invoice level now that we've drilled down into it that can contain documents that would be tied to the header. So an example, if this was actually an invoice and we weren't treating it sort of as an expense, then we would be able to attach a document here by going here and choosing to import a document. I'm just going to pick one of these TIFF files that I have sitting out here, and it's going to prompt me for the type of document that I'm attaching here at the header level. So I could choose invoice, invoice support, or packing slip. I'm going to choose invoice. And what we'll see is that it puts the invoice underneath the folder here, and if I refresh it, then it'll organize it such that the invoice is at the top here. So I attach that document to the header and not to any of these lines down here at the bottom. So in the case of an expense, maybe if you have a pre-approval document for the expenditure or something like that, then you could attach that at the header level, or something similar. But that we typically use this for purchase invoices, just attaching purchase invoices to to the associated NAV invoice. And then down at the line level, we'll see that we have 3 folders, one that corresponds with each line. And these folders are displayed dynamically in the system here. So if I go over here, and I'll switch over to edit mode, and I'll go over here and I'll create a new line. So we're just going to call it miscellaneous, and we'll say it's $1,000. So now if I go to here and I refresh, then we'll see, oh, and I got to click off of it so it'll save the data. So now we'll see that it adds an additional line here. So it gives me another place where I can put documents. So to the extent that a user is filling out an expense report and they're adding lines over here, they're going to have folders that are associated with each line. And when I attach a document here, it's actually going to attach the document at the line level. So it's going to attach it to this line. It's not going to attach it to the header. It's going to attach it to the line. So I'm going to go ahead and attach some documents here. So I'm going to attach to the line. I'm just going to choose a couple of these documents, and they're just, this is going to be a receipt. So now we'll go down to line 2, and I'll attach another document there.
One thing we haven't pointed out is that automatic naming that's occurring too.
Sure, yeah, and oh, I chose the wrong thing. We want to attach it to the line, so I'm going to choose this thing here. And we'll make this a parking voucher. You'll notice that when I select the subtype, that it's used to automatically name the document. So you can see what kind of document you have there without having to open the document, because it's used to automatically name the document. We're also using metadata from the record to which the document's linked to name the document as well. So we're using the invoice header number, invoice 1008, which is the invoice header. And then we're using the line number as metadata to name that document, as well as a date and a series number that's specific to our document management system. So just like the folder naming, the document naming is fully configurable as well. One thing to note about the subtype is that the subtype information is stored with the document as metadata for that document. So you can use that to drive business logic as well. So for example, I just showed you a pretty simple case that says, if there's not a document attached, then we're not going to allow you to post. You could also check for specific types of documents to be attached before you post. Like, for example, when you post an invoice, you might not want to be able to post if there's an invoice, if there's like support and packing slips attached. If the invoice isn't attached, you might not want to post. So we could get more granular with the business logic to kind of check the subtypes of documents and make sure you're attaching the right things before the certain things happen in NAV, like posting. So document naming, we think that's important because it saves users time, and so this helps them out tremendously. And then also it reduces training and provides control because the documents are going to be named automatically. They're going to be named the same way every time. So you're not having to train users to always use a certain document naming convention. It's kind of decided for you and applied automatically. So I'm going to go ahead and fill out the rest of these invoice lines. So we'll just grab a couple of these other different documents. We'll make this a receipt again. And then for this last one, we'll just attach a document here. So we'll attach to line 4000, and we'll choose that one, and we'll make it support. So now we've got something attached to all 4 lines. So now when I go and post this invoice, then it's going to let me go ahead and go through with that. So now it's posted my invoice. If I go down to the posted documents, I go down and find the one that we just posted, which is this one right here, then we're going to see that it's attached and brought over all 4 documents with the posting that occurred. So those documents aren't getting left behind against table 39 or 38 whenever the posting occurs. So it brought over the documents that were attached to the header, in this case just an invoice. And then it brought over all the documents that were attached to the lines, and it even renamed them automatically. So now they're basically, it shows that they're linked to this invoice now instead of the original invoice. So, again, we link those to the line, and now they always live at the line level, and they can be reported on at the line level.